Here we are with week number 7 of the SPS. This week we are going up against Rom and the ZL Ludicolos. You can see his team on the bottom right there: Skarmy, Megazard X, Sylveon, Crocodile, Blastoise, Amoonguss, Azelf, Hitmonchan, Masquerain, Heliolisk, and Mismagius. So, pretty good team. I know he made a few changes. I think this is the guy that got rid of Tornadus Therian, and then we took him. So now he's got to face off against his own mod, which I had to do last week, but he didn't bring Mega Pidgeot, so never mind. Yeah, so looking at his team, I mean, I don't really have that much for a Megazard X, let alone like a substituting Megazard X. So we have something, we got some stuff for it, but if it goes for substitute, we're really screwed. So I hope it does not go for substitute, because that'll be bad. But yeah, let's get right into the team. So I've had several mocks with this team now, and all but, as far as I can remember, all but one of the games, the Crocodile that was brought was not Scarfed. It was like a Taunt Stealth Rocks Crocodile. But they all had Intimidate. They were all like Intimidate Scarf, and it was like, geez, everyone's bringing Scarf Crook against me. But it was fine, because I had Galarian Weezing. So this mon is great for, it's great for a few things. I was going to make it Misty Surge, so I couldn't get Spored, or Stun Spored, I guess, by Amoonguss, but that wasn't really worth it, because I really wanted Levitate for Crook. And yeah, this Pokemon's great for Megazard X. I can Toxic as long as he doesn't substitute, which is a big thing. If he doesn't, goodness, my voice. If he doesn't go for substitute, I'm fine. I can just Toxic it and then kind of switch into things, and I'll be fine with Charizard. But if he goes for substitute, we're in a lot of bad things are gonna happen, basically. I'm great for Sylveon. I can Toxic Blastoise. I can deal with Hitmonchan easily. I can deal with Masquerain probably pretty easily. I don't have fire coverage for Skarmory, but that's fine, because in the mocks I've been in, like, of the mocks I've done, Pain Split has actually helped. A lot of times it's kind of a useless move, but in this one, for some reason, it seems to be really good. Like, against a Skarmory with no Iron Head, I can Pain Split against it. Against a Sylveon, I can Pain Split. Against Crocodile, I can Pain Split. Against Blastoise, as long as I'm above 40%, I can Pain Split. Against Hitmonchan, I definitely can. Against Masquerain, I should be able to. Even Amoonguss, because I outspeed it. So that's definitely an option, which is why it's there. I think it's more important than having like the Flamethrower just for Skarmory. So next up, I have Tornadus, which is a Safety Goggles Nasty Plot Tornadus, which you don't see that often, because Tornadus is usually used as a pivot. Pretty much any Regenerator mon is going to be used as a pivot, but because I kind of have a decent matchup with a Nasty Plot set here, I decided to bring it. Once I get one Nasty Plot up, it is incredibly difficult for my opponent to switch into me. I have Sludge Wave for Sylveon, Heat Wave for the Skarmory, and then Air Slash kind of deals with everything else. So that's really good. Once I get to a +2, like I said, there aren't really any switch-ins. Of course, Scarf Crook could be a problem. Blastoise could probably take a hit. Dry Skin Heliolisk will probably not take a Heat Wave. I'd be surprised if it did, but that mon could also be Scarfed, so that's something to keep in mind. Mismagius can probably take one not very well. Air Slash, I wasn't gonna risk Hurricane. It's just not worth it. If I'm using Nasty Plot, I'm not gonna lose because I'm missing a Hurricane. So that's not happening. Air Slash can still miss, but it's like 95% accuracy, and it can also flinch. So that's good to know. And of course, I have the Safety Goggles for the Spore Amoonguss. I can switch into that thing really easily, and then just kind of proceed to set up if the time is right. We gotta break Skarmory Sturdy first, though. So next up, we have Copperajah, our AV, almost max HP, max Spadef, Adamant Copperajah. I feel like going Adamant here was nice because it gives me a chance to 2-KO Skarmory if he's like not fully Fizz Def. And also it's just kind of more valuable. Like if I go Careful here instead of Adamant, then I just lose so much value from that because I'm only base 69 Spadef, whereas my attack, even though I'm max Spadef, like I'll show you here. If I could do this, right? I have so much more in attack than special defense, so I might as well just run adamant because I can take hits from the things I need to take hits from anyway. I can take hits from Sylveon really well. I can take hits from Azelf really well. I can take hits from Masquerain, Heliolisk, Mismagius, Blastoise. Heliolisk and Blastoise are pretty much the two biggest because if Blastoise sets up, we do have Power Whip for it. I decided to go Heavy Metal so that my Heavy Slam and Heat Crash are stronger. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. And with this set, Seer Force does nothing for me. So we have 8 in speed, so that I'll outspeed Amoonguss. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, the coverage I have is really nice for his team. I don't really need Earthquake, but there's nothing else to really put there, because like yeah, Earthquake for Charizard, but I'm never staying in against Charizard probably unless I have to. But yeah, unless I know he has sub. But if I know he has sub, I've probably already lost. So yeah, that's coverage. I think it's actually got a good matchup. This is only the second time I'm bringing it this season, but I think it can actually really help for me here. Especially if that's Sylveon, that's really important. If he doesn't have Mystical Fire, then this thing switches it on Sylveon and just OHKOs it every time. And he's got a switch. I could really use that as leverage and like predict a switch and go for Heat Crash or something like that. So next up we got Blurs, the Heracross, with enough speed for like a Crocodile with no speed, because why not? Close Combat, Smart Strike, Pin Missile, and Rock Blast. The last move I really wanted to run Substitute, but it's really not too important here to run Substitute because he can just Hyper Voice with Sylveon that goes through Substitute, and there's also just not many Pokemon I go for Substitute against. Like, even if I'm in against Crook and I go for Substitute and he brings out Skarmory, it really doesn't matter. So, it's like, okay, that's great. So I just decided to run Rock Blast on the off chance I get to predict a switch into Charizard. The Charizard isn't Mega'd yet. It resists my dual stab, so that could be really annoying. Or if he, for some reason, if Masquerain comes, it actually deals with my Heracross really well, so I want to be able to Rock Blast it just in case. So yeah, Close Combat's pretty obvious. Smart Strike with 2 hit to Sylveon, which also resists my dual stab because it's a Fairy type. And then, I don't know, Pin Missile is just for I guess for Amoonguss, to hit that thing pretty hard, and it actually does more than Close Combat, so, obviously it's got 95% accuracy, and it doesn't lower to my defense. So that's definitely the move that I'll probably be clicking most is Pin Missile, but in my mocks, I just don't seem to use this one a lot. Like, it's just in the back waiting to shine, so, but yeah. Anyway, next up is Ire, our Incineroar, which is incredibly important in this match because I can switch into Charizard and get the Intimidate off, which is huge, and then I can just Parting Shot out the next turn. I have Heavy Duty Boots for switching into rocks, which is nice. I don't really need anything else. I have Heat Wave just in case I need to sit in front of Skarmory and go for moves and click moves. I don't want to just be clicking Fire Punch because that doesn't do enough, and especially if he has like Rocky Helmet, that would just be annoying. So I can knock it off, but yeah. Anyway, Heat Wave is nice. It also has a chance to get a burn, so something to keep in mind. I haven't clicked Heat Wave once in all of my mocks with Incineroar, but it's kind of that situation where, yeah, you have Parting Shot, you have Knock Off, you have Toxic. What's your last move? Like, it probably should be Fire coverage, but, I don't really need it. So I just thought Skarmory probably runs, like, Fizz Def if he brings it, just to take as many hits as possible. So I might as well just run Heat Wave in case he does do that, so I can hit a little bit harder on the special side. And because of that, we have to run on minus Speed Nature, which is fine because that doesn't really make us get outsped by anything that we wouldn't already get outsped by. So, yeah, of course, Toxic's nice for Charizard. Again, if he sets up a sub, nothing we can do about that. Parting Shot does go through subs. So that's important to keep in mind. We can Parting Shot against him if he already has a sub up. But yeah, we're hoping that he never gets a sub up. So last but not least, we have Dragapult, which is rocking the Sub Willow Hex Dragon Darts with a Roselli Berry. Roselli Berry is nice for Sylveon because Substitute means nothing to Hyper Voice. Hyper Voice will hit me behind a Substitute. It'll do damage to my actual health. So maybe if we have Sylveon a little bit weakened, we can predict a switch, go for Will-O-Wisp, and then I can Hex twice and knock him out. Because I can live one Hyper Voice. Basically, unless he's like modest specs, I'll be fine. So, yeah. So that's why we're going minus defense instead of minus special defense, just so that we can make sure we take that Hyper Voice a little bit better. We don't really need our physical defense to be that good in this matchup. So, Dragon Darts is just there for the Charizard pretty much. I can Will-O-Wisp everything else. It's also nice for Heliolisk, but I didn't feel like the 88. I didn't feel like I needed any EVs in the attack anyway. I'm pretty sure Dragon Darts won't OHKO for, the Charizard no matter what from full, so I might as well just put it in HP. It is going to 2-KO, like guaranteed. Like Dragon Darts will 2-KO the Charizard. But you know, if we get any kind of damage off on it, it's going to get knocked out by the Dragon Darts. So we are outspeeding his Elf with this speed. If he does end up bringing it, again, he's not going to run max speed on it, but just in case, you know, get that peace of mind. I suppose that's it for this team. Dragapult's last year just because I really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. Like, I didn't want to run Specs. I didn't want to run, like, Dragon Dance. I didn't want to run E-Belt. There really wasn't many sets. I don't think Dragapult's going to be the star of this game. I think, if anything, it's going to be, like, Incineroar or Copperajah or Weezing. Like, I don't think my offense wins this game, honestly. I think my defense is gonna be the game changer. Like, if we do win, I'm not gonna sweep with Dragapult. I might sweep with Tornadus, but I need a lot of things damaged first. So, yeah. Anyway, that's gonna be the video, or the team builder, I guess. I'll cut right here to the battle, and yeah, you'll see how we did. So, thanks for watching. I'll cut here and wish me luck. All right, here we are with the battle, going up against Rom and the ZL Ludicolos. In week 7, he's got a team of Heliolisk, Zelf, Sylveon, Amoonguss, Charizard X, and Mega Charizard X, and Blastoise, regular Blastoise. Okay, that was about as difficult as I could have made it. So looking at a few things, he didn't bring Crocodile, which I guess makes sense looking at my team. I was just kind of half expecting it because there were so many mocks that they brought it. So I was just naturally expecting to see it. So he also didn't bring Skarmory, which again I suppose makes sense. But Heracross is a threat, man. Heracross is definitely a threat. So Skarmory would have been great for the Heracross, and the Weezing, and maybe the Dragapult. Probably not the Dragapult, but yeah. So I suppose that makes sense too. But wasn't entirely expecting to see the Heliolisk or the Azelf, frankly. But we see both of them. Also, only change I made was I changed Galarian Weezing to Sludge Bomb over Strange Team, which I'm actually glad I did because he didn't bring Crocodile, which is really all I'd go for. The only reason I'd have Strange Team there would be for Crocodile. I put Sludge Bomb on it so that he couldn't substitute on me. Sludge Bomb definitely breaks the substitute, and like if I go for Toxic as he goes for substitute, I can at least break it. Whereas Strange Team, if he's bulky, it won't break the sub, plus has a chance to miss. So we don't want to be dealing with that. So yeah, without further ado, looking at the lead, I'm going to lead with Incineroar because I'm expecting like a Stealth Rock's lead as Elf. But it's also just a decent mon against his team. So yeah, let's go ahead and play the battle now. And so I lead with Incineroar. What does he lead with? He leads with his Elf. So I'm just going to go for the knockoff turn 1 to see what he wants to do. He probably doesn't want to bring Charizard on this mon, so knocking off an item would be great here. He goes for the U-turn. I was expecting like a Stealth Rock Sash lead, like I said, but he goes for the U-turn. I do a good amount to this Blastoise. I see that it's basically fully offensive, and it's got a White Orb, so we know that it's going to be a Shell Smash set. I go into Copperajah because that's my special tank, pretty much, for this team. He goes into Heliolisk, does about half. I'm predicting a Focus Blast here, so I go into Dragapult. It was a little bit of a risky play, and obviously it doesn't pay off. He goes for Glare, and then he goes for Dark Pulse, and he gets a crit, which is very important because like after the game I saw his team, he had like almost no special attack investment. That would not have killed me, so that's really annoying. So I go back into coverage draw. If I just stay in and gone for Earthquake and he glares me, like that's fine. But unfortunately, he makes the play and goes for glare there. So now he gives no Amoonguss on my coverage draw. And as I go into the Tornado, it's really unfortunate. I was predicting the Spore there because I had the safety goggles, but he goes for a Toxic. If I had stayed in and gone for Heat Crash, that would have been awesome because I probably outspeed because I had a little bit of speed investment just to outspeed the Amoonguss. So I go for a Nasty Plot as I'm Toxic here. Then I get a Sludge Wave off on the Sylveon. He goes for Moonblast, which he told me after the game that he had Moonblast over Hyper Voice in case I brought Throat Chop on the Incineroar, so to stop the Hyper Voice. But I didn't do that because I didn't even think of that. He goes for Protect to try to kill my Tornadus with Toxic. As I bring in Copper Draw, this is a perfect opportunity to go for the Heavy Slam. As he gets in the Charizard, this is a big issue, right? I didn't know what to go. I didn't know if I wanted to go into Incineroar or Weezing. So I go into Weezing. He goes for Swords Dance, which is great because I can still outspeed this model with Tornadus. And as long as I hit an Air Slash, I'm good to go. So I do go into Tornadus and I knock him out with an Air Slash, which is great. So 5-4. A little bit scary because Dragapult is kind of just my safety pin, and he was the first one to go down. So he brings in a Zelf as I have no reason not to bring in Incineroar here. I was pretty sure he wasn't going to predict that. But it's kind of looking like at this point that Zelf might be Scarfed. So something to keep in mind. I knock off the Rocky Helmet on Amoonguss as a physically defensive Amoonguss. We know that by now. As I Parting Shot into the Tornadus. And here I'm going to go for another Nasty Plot. I wasn't really expecting him to stay in and just kind of take this hit, but he is going to do so. I can live one more Toxic turn, so I'm just going to Air Slash and I knock him out. Thankfully, I'm hitting Tornadus is hitting his attacks this game, which is beautiful, which is exactly why I didn't run Hurricane. If I ran Hurricane and I missed against the Charizard, it's basically game over, so that's not good. So he goes into Zelf, reveals he's Scarfed, and I guess he didn't want another Mon to die, so he was willing to reveal that. I thought I had Substitute on this Heracross until I brought it in, and I'm like, well, oh well. I go for Smart Strike expecting Sylveon. That was a really bad play on my end because we know it's not, judging by the calcs, we know it's not fully defensive Sylveon, and even if it is, I can just Smart Strike the next turn, so there's no reason to go for Smart Strike there. So as a result, I let Copper Jaw get glared and then weakened a little bit with the Thunderbolt, which is a really annoying prospect. So I go into Heracross as he brings in his Elf and goes for a knockoff. I mean, I guess he was trying to set up for a Blastoise sweep at the end, knocking off my Assault Vest, but I knew he wasn't going to go for like a Psychic. I was kind of expecting Focus Blast there, which is why I brought in Heracross, but he locks himself into knockoff, so then I can bring in Heracross and just Pin Missile, and we're good to go. So a Zelf comes in. I'm going to predict a Psychic here. I'm going to go into Incineroar, as Incineroar does take the Psychic, doesn't even affect me, obviously. So he stays in here. I was expecting maybe a Blastoise switch, but at the same time, he can't really do that. The Shell Smash Blastoise is his only real threat to win here. I go into Copper Draw because I don't want to die to a Psychic with Heracross, or at least get myself weakened by it. So he's just going to keep going for Psychic. He's just sacking his off at this point, basically, as I go for knockoff and knock him out. And it's kind of the situation I wanted. As long as he doesn't have Zen Headbutt with Blastoise, I can take a hit with Heracross as long as I Parting Shot here. If he just kills me with Surf, I can also just bring in Heracross, so it's not an issue. So I go for Parting Shot. So now he's only at +1 special attack. And again, only way he wins here is if he has Zen Headbutt, and he gets like 2 full paras on Copper Jaw. But that does not happen, so he just goes for the Surf. I go for Close Combat to knock him out. That's going to be a 3-0 win for us. Really solid. I felt like our core really held up there. I mean, yeah, Weezing died to 1 hit, but that recoil was huge. Like, if I don't get that recoil off, I don't kill him with Air Slash on Tornadus. So that was awesome. It was kind of interesting to see him just blatantly let that thing go like that. but that's fine. I guess he didn't want to risk Tornado's predicting a switch and going for a nasty plot, because that could have been an issue for him, maybe. But then again, he had Scarfed his elf, so I don't know. Pretty excited to get this win. Next up is Almighty Arceus and the LA Lycanrocs. I've already looked at that matchup, and it is absolutely horrendous, in my opinion, for me. But, you know, we'll take a look at that next week. So, I know this battle's a little bit late. We had this battle last night, and this is Monday morning. I'm recording this, so hopefully this goes up Monday. That's not too bad. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.